Australia just dismantled India in the second test of the WTC trophy. We had Travis Head and you have so many other culprits, and it was a heated affair, but a 1-1. India had obviously won the first test by 295 runs and they were high on confidence. This was, however, the night test in Adelaide, and that last time round, that resulted in 36 all out. Both teams had the Border Gavaskar Trophy and the World Series Championship on the line. For the Indian camp, Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill were back after unavailabilities, so they were back to near full strength. While Australia, who already struggled in the first match, had their best player, Hazelwood, off injured and Boland was set to come in. Meanwhile, the batting stars of the series, Rohit, Kohli, Marnus and Smith were all four out of form. The hype for the series was still very much at an all-time high, and the crowd was completely packed. Now with the batsmen coming back, the batting was restructured. Jurel, Portico were back out, and whatever confusions people had about batting order with Kale playing amazing in the first match were resolved the day before. KL was given the confidence to once again open alongside Yashasvi Jaiswal. Shubman Gill was given assurance at number 3, and he looked solid in his 50 against the Prime Minister's 11. And the exciting thing was Rohit coming back at 6. This was him going back to his old roots when Rahane, Pujara, and Kohli were bat ahead of him. And it was a big gamble, but it was quite selfless of him and impressive for him to actually make the decision. Now the spinners to be chosen was once again a great source of mystery. Washi played the first match, and he actually scored quite well against the Prime Minister's 11. Also alongside reports, he was batting with the top 6 in nets throughout, so I thought there was a chance he'd get the nod again. Jadeja's also given bowling and batting against the Prime Minister's 11, so there's always an option he would come in, and he has an amazing record in Australia, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if he'd come in. But there was a lot of chit-chat for Ashwin to be included. Now, I was kind of surprised about that because he was not at all involved in the practice match, but nevertheless, he was in contention, and in the end, he was chosen. He made the cut, and it showed the flexible horses for courses kind of approach that your team is looking for. We have 3 great spinners who offer different things. You have to assume that Lions' performances at this ground is what pushed India to strengthen their bowling. But also, what Rohit Sharma said in the press conference in general showed that all 3 of the spinners will most likely have some kind of role going ahead in the BGT. With over 50,000 people, you already had Adelaide record crowd for India-Australia matches, and anyone in the toss chose to bat. Things were looking perfectly fine. Well, before you know it, on the first ball, Yashasvi just got out, and boom, just at the start of the match, the tone was set completely, and this was dynamite. Box office, all of that. You go back 2 weeks, and Jaiswal and Rahul had tired the Australian bowlers out. They had no more steam in them, and Jaiswal was sledging Stark. And now Stark didn't even have to wait a ball to get his revenge. It's the 3rd time Stark has done this though, taking wicket after the first ball, and this was very much the same vein as when he got Rory Burns out on the first ball of the Ashes. Jaiswal got another duck to sandwich his century as his 2nd duck to start the series, and that makes the whole rivalry quite interesting. Straight away, you head fire back into the contest. If you thought the Aussies were sloppy and loose last time around, well no, that went right out the window. What followed was a more stable period, and Shubman Gill, to his credit, looked solid from ball 1. He was milling every ball, hit multiple boundaries in the first over itself, and looked all set in the conditions. KL on the end started off very scratchy. It was calm at first, but soon as bowling came, first ball round, he thought he got out and he walked off. Luckily for him, it was a no ball, and Stickle didn't show any spike either, so that was a curious case. Nevertheless, he was also dropped by Usman Khawaja a few balls later. After what happened was very surprising because KL kept on taking chances. He was so good last time around when he was just starting defense and patient, and I feel like he lost patience here, and there were a lot of edges going on, and in the end he did fall to an edge as a short ball from Stark resulted in his wicket. Now once again I'm disappointed because this was the kind of ball he could easily left. Now when King Kohli came back on after his first century, things were exciting. Right at the start, he almost got run out as he took a very tight single and Marnus glided through the pitch and had one hand pickup throw, almost resulting in run out. That would have been the stuff of nightmares. On his 4th ball, while still on duck, he flashed that one which was far outside off and got streaky 4. And it felt like he was going back to those habits that resulted in him having bad form. Maybe he got complacent after century, I have no idea. But on the 8th ball, he got a short one outside off, which he could have left again, but he accidentally slips. It was very similar to the Rahul dismissal. Once again, it was Stark, and God, just so disappointing. It was like after the great century, he went back into that problem he had, and maybe it was complacency, maybe the first century was just an anomaly. And problems didn't end there. It was another collapse for India. From 69 for 1, we went to 87 for 5. And Shubman Gill was looking so solid. He was handling Stark with ease, as he's done so far in his career. And he went out LBW to a straight run from Boland. He struggled against Boland in general. At this point, it was his 3rd dismissal among only 10 runs in just 3 innings, so not great stuff. But it's disappointing because he looked set to get a massive score. He was so fluent. I hate how he gets all these really good looking 30s and then Matt doesn't convert them. It's like he's a much better player than what that innings would suggest. Then Rohit Sharma coming back up at 6. So much excitement from fans, and once again he got out similarly to Gill. Boland got those 2 wickets to follow Stark's 3 wickets, and India were down to 87 for 5. Now we warned you that Mitchell Stark would be great in the pink ball test, and honestly it's not a great call, because if you've seen his pink ball stats, you just know that's what's going to happen. Rishabh Pant and Ashwin got 20s, but that just was not close enough, and KL once again impressed, and he missed out on a well-deserved 50. He got out for 42. Nitish Kumar Reddy has shown why he deserves to be there and why he's got the spark in him. I mean, I didn't think his stats showed his place at first, but he has quickly turned every chance into an opportunity. Meanwhile, on the other end, you had Stark going berserker mode. You got 6 for and career best figures of 48 for 6. And the wickets he got, I mean, you got Jaiswal, you got KL, you got Kohli, you got NKR, you got Ashwin, and you got Harshit on a golden duck. You know, the revenge from the last verbal banter, well, it finally came into fruition. India was done again in 2 sessions, this time around for 180, and it was like the momentum he got from the first test was completely evaporated. Bumrah once again was hot, and he just is hot. I mean, there's nothing much about it that would surprise anyone. What was impressive was McSweeney and Marnus persisting. They stood their ground for the rest of the day, and it was good stuff. It was gutsy batting. Now, McSweeney had been dropped early off punt. It was a tough chance, but a chance nonetheless. But they both had massive selection pressure, especially with Sam Costas hitting a flowing century in the Prime Minister's 11 match. But they both performed, and at stumps, Australia were 86 for 1, trailing by less than 100 with 9 wickets in the bag. On the start of second day, Bumrah was once again on fire. McSweeney perished early and Smith got strangled down leg. Bumrah got the first 3 and the rest of the bowlers had yet to pick anything. Harshit Rana was seriously off colour and got hit at a high economy rate, while Mohammad Siraj was once again hot-headed. Had the whole thing when Marnus was justifiably distracted by something in the side screen, and it's like part 2 of what happened in the first test with Siraj and Marnus. To his credit, Marnus did pull up a really well-strung 50. It was crucial for not only Australia but his own career. And then all of a sudden, Akira with a golden arm against a rough play right before the break got Marnus out. It was a great grab by Jaiswal in gully, and it was a ball-time shot by Marnus, but it was just the wrong place to hit it, I guess. But after the break, the guy that broke us once again was Travis Head. He hit an incredible century of just 111 balls. It took him only 16 balls to go from 78 all the way to 100. His 140 came off 141 balls, which means he was basically going to outrun a ball. He took on Ashwin like crazy. I mean, Ashwin's supposed to be amazing against left-handers, but Travis just continuously charged him and hit him out for several sixes. Does he just hate India? Maybe. Siraj dismissed him, and that was a whole other thing. I mean, there was a he said kind of story there. Both parties arguing the other person started it, but those words exchanged for sure. There was a lot of aggression in the air. Crowd got involved. Siraj got booed afterwards, and it was a vibrant atmosphere. I honestly enjoyed it. I mean, obviously you don't like your players being booed, but we're in enemy territory here, and this felt like it. After a lot of friendly banter in the last few series, this time around in this series, it felt like things were real, stakes were higher, and there was truly some fire. Australia ended their innings on a whopping 337, leading by 157, and leaving India in a deep, deep hole for them to dig themselves out of. Yet that third innings never really took off at all. I mean, India just had to bat on one session, and they still managed to lose half their side by then, and that's the good half. Carroll early doors got wrapped up by a Pat Cummins bouncer. It was the second time around in this test he got out to short ball, and that might be a point of concern. I don't know why Indian batsmen just don't duck anymore. Like, if you duck, you're not getting out. And it's a test match, isn't that the main aim? After that, Jaiswal got out in a very similar way to the way he got out to Hazelwood in the first innings of the first test. Bowling once again getting a first ball wicket, sorta. I mean, last time around it wasn't no ball. This time around his foot was behind the line. He was poking at one, kind of far outside off. The angle did him, and he was caught behind. Virat Kohli once again was caught poking at one. Again, complacency. Maybe he could have used better judgment. Nevertheless, disappointing stuff. Shubman Gill was finally done to Stark. I mean, he had a great record until now, but Stark got his first wicket of Gill, and this was the right ball to do it on. It was a dream delivery. It swung in late. It went around his bat literally. But the ball he faced was just one of those balls that when they come, you just hope to God that they don't come again. And then the Rohit Sharma experiment failed once again as he got castled by Pat Cummins. It felt like a New Zealand series again when he got bowled, making a ball look better than it actually was. And he was actually out on the first ball too. Would have been outgone for a duck if Scott Boland hadn't overstepped again. India was still trailing at stumps and were 5 wickets down. So this was a terrible situation to be in. If you thought second innings 5 was coming, no, that was very far off. Moving to day 3, the thought was if there was some low order fight, you would see a second session, possibly. But it was the same story again. This time around, it was Pat Cummins to shine, but again, NK was someone who was fighting. Point was out immediately, didn't really add anything. Ashwin followed. He didn't have great test overall in terms of impact. Was unlucky with one of the DRS calls, but he did get Marsh's wicket in the end. Makes you wonder which spinner will play Gabba next time round. Harshit Rana grabbed a pair. His batting ability has not been on display yet. NKR once again got no support on the other end. He was out on 42 again. Sad that he keeps missing out on these well-deserved 50s. But look at his 4 innings so far. First innings, he was the highest scorer of the team. Second innings, he was not out. Third innings, he was the highest scorer. And fourth innings, he was the highest scorer again. Pat Cummins, meanwhile, goes back into form after a forgettable first test. He took 6 wickets, and they were all pretty convincing. He was bowling good balls at very awkward lengths, and India gave a target of just 19 runs, and I mean, it was nothing to even mention, really. The 4 matches were done. McSweeney and Khawaja finished up as India lost by 10 wickets, and Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli really off it. There's so much to break down there, but we'll make another video on just those two particularly. Shubman Gill needs to convert. I mean, he has looked like the best batsman, maybe the second best after NKR. In terms of the way he's played, it's been so good on the eye. But somehow he just has not gotten any scores for it. I mean, the kind of cricket he's playing, it looks like he should be getting 50s and 100s in both of those innings, not what he ended up getting. K. Rahul really played a weird game of cricket this time around. I mean, he was a rock in the last match, yet in this match his shot selection was super confusing. No blockathon, no leaving balls. He was playing at things he really shouldn't have been playing, and it brings into question who's going to play the Pujara role. And KR has not been given any back partners at this rate. Do you move him to 6 and Rohit to 7? Who knows? Harshit Rana has not been consistent enough, not in terms of performances per se, just in terms of discipline. Maybe it's lack of first class experience. That means he's bowling a few good balls, but then a few looseners too, and just is unable to build the pressure. And I mean, the Aussies will be happy with this test. However, they would want to see a lot more from Smith, Kawaj, and Lyon. All three of them have really yet to do anything of note. So what's next? We have Shami in India getting ready. He could join the team soon, and India really needs to have the non-Bumrah threats too. Are Rohit and Kohli not needed? I mean, there's a big call to be made there, and honestly, just by the players themselves. And we're headed back to the Gabba. And last time around, we know how legendary that was. It's gonna be a batter's pitch, and hopefully this time our batters once again step up. Drop your thoughts in the comments below about this match or how you think the series is gonna go ahead. Once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing coverage.